had tear gas, stun grenades, rubber bullets. We had students running into Bramfontein. We had a bus burn. That is, without doubt, one of the darkest days in Witz's history.
To come in early, they need to ensure that groups do not get too big, etc., etc., etc.
Yale Road, especially for me, because that was the first time I actually experienced tear gas, like in a very life-threatening way. Because I don't remember the date, but we were doing a silent, not really silent, but it was a march. It was not destructive. It was very peaceful, and we had all the bishops with us, all the key political figures who were in support of Fees Must Fall. I remember Advocate Darlin Bofu was with us, and we were all there in front line. It was good times. Everybody's in support. We peacefully marching up Yale Road for Fees Must Fall, and all of a sudden we get fired at, stun grenades, bullets, in the midst of all these people, and so everybody was just dispersed. And I remember I found like this, I don't know what you call it, there's like this brick, it's a small brick wall, you know, where like there's plants and stuff like that, and it was just me and two other girls, and we hid behind those that structure, right? And basically you couldn't move into the road, otherwise you're gonna get shot at. So we had to stay on the sidelines, and literally we look back, and then there's this white man, as a policeman, right? He's just like slowly walking up the road. He can see that we're not doing anything, we're just trying to take cover, we're not being destructive or anything. He literally just looks at it, like he walks past us, and he just casually drops, you know, a can of tear gas and just walks on. At this point, I'm like, what must we do? Because if we move from this, you are going to shoot us. Or even if you don't shoot us, somebody else is going to shoot us. But then if we stay, we're going to suffocate and die. And like, I remember that moment, like, just regretting, why was I even here? Because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. We were suffocating so bad. And I think my anxiety just went up even more because the girl behind me wasn't taking it as well. Like, she was really suffocating. And like, now everybody's panicking. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I can't really help you. At the same time, I'm also like half dying. And so for me, like, those spaces are really, you know, they're very triggering. And I don't think, yeah, like, they're very triggering. I remember it was actually just recently after the 2016 Fees Must Fall movement. We were getting back into exams, and I was staying over at a friend's because she lived in Bram and I lived far, so like I couldn't be traveling up and down. And I remember one night, like, I think it was just a garbage truck that was just passing her building, and I think it dropped something, and like we just both panicked, and we just stayed up the whole entire night because we were just thinking, oh my God, like that has to be like a stun grenade or something like that. And also just being on campus, there are certain places where, you know, you walk past them and you remember like moments where you feel like you almost died, especially in the church, like walking past there by School of Arts, because I was actually there that day when the priest got shot, and it was very traumatic for me personally, because when we were inside, you know, the churchyard, we thought, okay, this is a safe space, we won't expect, you know, police to raid a church. We never would have expected that to happen. And, you know, little did we know that they didn't even care if a white man was in front of a group of black students. They were just still gonna raid. You know, they came inside, and I just felt like I had nowhere to go. Like, there was nowhere you could have hid, because they even went inside the church. There was nowhere you could have hid, and all I can remember was like, I just threw myself on the floor. I was like, you know, whatever happens, I'm just gonna throw myself on the floor so that if bullets get fired, you know, I don't get hit. And I remember a friend of mine, Usera, she was also part of the movement, very key figure, and she just threw herself on me and she was like, I'll cover you the entire time. And I'm like, wow, that was so moving for me, because someone was willing to risk their life to save mine. in a space where we should have all been safe in the first place. So I think just walking in Wits actually is a site of trauma for me. It's very uncomfortable, and people don't actually take cognizance of that because they just expect you guys to have moved on from it, but it's not like that. Yeah. Even within Fees Fall itself, I mean, like, just because we were doing this great thing didn't mean that in itself it didn't have glitches. There's just a lot of things that I just thought were very backward and very, what's the word? I don't know. I don't want to use like a very big word, but like I just felt like there's a lot of violence, emotional violence, physical violence, institutional violence, if I have to get academic. And the system didn't really, create a way to go about recovering from Fees Fall. And even Fees Fall as itself, I don't think that the people who are leading or just us as a collective took the time to actually recoup or debrief in a way that can like just tell people what's the way forward. People just risk their lives and then you just disappear. I mean, there was no accountability of everything that took place, and I felt that was a big disappointment, especially because people believed in what we were doing and they risked their lives for it and people died for it and nobody took accountability. Everybody just was like, okay, well, Wits is forcing us to write exams, it's just write exams. Nobody's accountable. People are emotionally bruised and wounded. Or how can they even get into exams? I never understood the concept of saying exams will continue tomorrow, when today you have just like wounded like thousands of students in the street, and then you expect them to be in a psychological state of being able to write an exam, and expect them to pass, and expect them to hold the caliber that Wits holds in the world. I don't understand how that kind of happened. I don't understand. But yeah, those are kind of my frustrations with what happened afterwards. And I feel like there should be accountability. I think it's never too late to be accountable. Like, there needs to be a conversation around 2016 and around 2015. There really needs to be a very long conversation about it, and a conversation that's very practical and interactive, because I don't think people have healed from it. Yeah.